Hi friends and fellow woodturners, Richard Ford here, coming to you from Nova Scotia, Canada. I've been working on my old videos, and this is a little series of 6 videos showing how I made this little bowl here. Now this little bowl, you can see, looks as if it's 3 bowls or a couple of bowls sitting in a dish, something like that, and it's one piece of wood. So this bowl I made back in 2012, and it's the method that I used at the time. I have since developed another method that doesn't require any special chucks or any special tooling. And I guess that's going to be the subject of a future video when I get through editing all my old ones and I get around to making a few more videos. I've got quite a few stacked up to present later. So I'll stop talking now and we can get on and watch this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye now.
Safety. It's a big thing in the workshop. If you don't feel safe doing something, or you just don't feel comfortable, don't do it. You're the only person who can keep you safe. And if you don't do it, no one else can.
Well, welcome to the shop. And today I'm going to attempt to remember how I made this. I make about one a year, I guess. And it's usually because somebody says, "How did you do that?" And I have difficulty remembering. So I thought I would make a video, and I can use that as a reminder to myself, or a way to show other people how to do it. So it looks like three bowls piled together, but in fact it's one piece of wood. And the trick is in the offsetting. So what I've done, I have this piece of cherry, and I've glued a waste block onto it that I turned a little radius on the outside edge, and I radiused the back, because when it's back in the jaws here and you rotate it, it helps to clear so that we can offset it. And there's another trick to this, which involves these 2 tapped holes here and these set screws. I used to, you have to offset it in two ways. You have to offset it from center and tip it. And I used to put little pieces of wood between the jaw, 2 of the jaws and the block, and tip it. And the difficulty there is holding the little blocks of wood. So I decided that I would drill and tap 2 holes in 2 of the jaws. They're offset 1 inch from the end and 3/8 of an inch in from the edge here. And when these are taken out, has no effect at all. But when I need to offset it, I can just put the set screws in, and that will move. If you imagine the screw is in there, it's going to move this off this way, and the screw in here and move it off this way. Then I tip it to get it back on center again. So anyway, first thing to do is to true it up. We'll just make a cylinder on it. We'll do the outside. And I usually mark where the number 1 jaw fits, so that when I come back, the little marks that the jaws have made will fit in the same little grooves, maybe. We can hope anyway, and help center it up a little better. Like be able to go back to the original position easily. I do that on most of the bowls and things I make when there's a question of unmounting them, and remounting them at a later date. Just helps. Yeah. I just wobbled it and it just fell in the little grooves that were there everywhere before. So I'll tighten that up. And to save my fingers, I'll use my little pipe. seems to be fairly true. Oh, yeah. I just hot melted that block on there, and I use the system where I have a frying pan, electric frying pan, and I just melt some hot melt glue bars in it, get it nice and hot, put the block in the molten glue, and just leave it there for a minute. Everything heats up nicely and the glue is on it, and then I just lift the block out. Now you should always wear gloves when you do this because that glue is so very hot, and if it sticks to your finger there's going to be skin coming off. Don't ask me how I know, so wear gloves. And you just push the block on, and I put a little weight on it, just leave it there for a minute till it's nice and cool and dries, and you can see the glue well, I don't know if you can. The glue has squoze out all around the edge here, so yeah, nice and secure. If you have a really big heavy duty heat gun, glue gun, you can use that too, I guess. Or you could use a 2-part epoxy or anything you like. So the first thing, we're going to just true it up. Okay, the old face shield. Just one little spot here. Still feels like there's a little spot. Yes, look. In here. Oh. Not really parallel. There, we have something now which looks fairly true. And the next, I'm going to have to clean that face shield before I use it again. Now the next thing to do is to do the offset, and what I'm going to try is I'm going to offset it and then true it up, and try and turn this face here and back just this far, so I'll go back to here, and this face here, and this little lip here. So one and the lip, and so far in here, about 5, 16, 3/8 in deep here. That's what I'm going to turn. So the first trick is to offset it and line it up. Now this corner of my tool rest is very smooth. I've smoothed it off with keep it smooth, and I have a little spacer block here that I just put on here so that I can leave this, and I can spin this, and I can see if something is true. And if something came round to tap on it, it would just move it. You know, it's not tightened up this way. So I use that for doing the alignment. Now, we're going to put the screws in. These little set screws go in these tapped holes here and my idea here, my thinking was, I've offset them. They're not in the center. They're an inch in from each end, and that sort of makes a 3-point contact. The edge of these two jaws here that are opposite, those two are one contact, and then these two are three. So I've got like a 3-point contact here. That's my plan. So I'm going to screw these in so that they stick out inside. Or I'll probably take them down sort of just about flush on the top there. Oh, maybe, yeah, just sticking up a little bit. 30-second, something like that. Yeah, it's not an exact science. Now we have to open the jaws up to get this back in. And where's number one? There's number one. I'm going to continue to sort of roughly use this mark on the number one set of jaws. Okay, so now if I just kept it square basically like that, and tightened it up just to show you, you'll see that it runs not true anymore. Alright, so a goal here is to do this edge and this. And this edge is back all just, you know, 3/16 from the outside edge here. That's why I trued it up, so you know where this edge is going to be roughly. So we need a point that's 3/16 back from here, and when it is running true. Okay, so now we have to tip it a little bit, and we need a point. This is the side that's over here the most. We need to tip it and get that running so that it pretty well touches all the way around. And this bit can be a little bit fiddly, but you see where we have the biggest gap, that's just here. I'm going to loosen the jaws, and I'm going to try and move it about half of that gap that's there. Just about there. Oh. There, about half that gap. That's there. Well, it is getting a little bit smaller. Oh, yeah. I just realized something, that the kind of jaws you have, you couldn't do this with the little dovetail type jaws. These are the one-way profile jaws, and for doing something like this they're ideal. And they're the tower jaws, so that they stick out quite a way. Wow, seem to be having more trouble with this than I remember. I'm actually out a little bit. I need to get a little closer there. Yeah. Well, it's just a question of some fine adjustment. pretty close now. I would say there's 30 thou, about a 32nd there. Gap. Oh. Oh, yeah. Wow. Down to about 10 thou. If that. Yeah. Oh. Right there, it looks pretty good. Oh yeah, still pretty good. Tighten it a little bit more. Yeah. My little pipe.